Good morning and welcome to today's really exciting announcement for the City of Frederick and a number of partner agencies that we have been working with. The role of policing in our communities has been undergoing a lot of change, and there have certainly been a lot of conversations, especially over the last year, with regards to the role of police officers in our community and how our agencies can better collaborate with individuals who are dealing with mental health or other kinds of crises. And so the concept of community policing is one that we've talked about frequently in the City of Frederick, and it's one that we take seriously. And today we're excited to introduce a new way in which our police department will work together with the community. Over the last several years, there have been a number of conversations increasing and about the ongoing discussions of behavioral and mental health crises and how those can best be supported. Additionally, the mental health effects of the last year for all of us through the pandemic are still not fully known. We know that there have been many dynamics in our community that our mental health professionals have had to deal with as a result of that. And because police officers are a first responder and often get those calls, they may be the individuals that are the first person on the scene. There's been an increase in 211 calls locally, and the needs of mental health services are rising. So while we want and expect the public to call the police when they see something that concerns them, we recognize that in not all instances are the police necessarily the best first responder. And that is particularly true when you're talking about mental health or substance use or housing crises. So like other communities, Frederick is very interested in prioritizing and leveraging the training of our community's mental health professionals to create partnerships in collaboration with our first responders. And this is a concept that when we were going through the interview process to hire a new police chief was something that Chief Lando and I discussed. And he had some really concrete ideas about ways in which this could happen in Frederick. And so I'm excited that we're able to talk today about this concept of crisis intervention and a co-responder program to address and de-escalate high-stress situations, particularly in the mental health arena, while having a range of skills required to handle possibly dangerous developments that could emerge from those situations. And so I'm going to introduce Chief Jason Lando to share a little more information about the program that we are initiating today. Chief?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm excited today to announce a program that we are calling the Frederick Police Crisis Car Program. The Crisis Car is comprised of a 3-person team. There's going to be a Frederick police officer, a mental health professional from one of our partner agencies, Shepherd Pratt, and an EMT or a paramedic from the Frederick County Fire and Rescue. The team is going to operate in an unmarked police vehicle. It'll be marked with the words Crisis Response Team on it, but otherwise it'll not be a traditional marked police car. And the purpose of the team and the purpose of the car is to respond anywhere in the city of Frederick where there is a mental health crisis or a person in need, where we feel like having a uniformed police officer as the primary responder is not necessarily the best, wouldn't yield the best outcome. Our goal with the program is to improve outcomes, decrease the need to use force, and mitigate the need to use the criminal justice system as a means for dealing with people in crisis. There are several reasons for a multidisciplinary team, and as you look around the country, a number of cities have started to come up with similar programs. Some of them are just medical responders, some are just mental health responders. And as I looked around, I noticed there weren't many programs that paired all 3 disciplines together. And I think that gives us a very unique opportunity here in Frederick. We realize that a lot of these situations don't require a police officer, but I don't want to put our co-responders, our EMTs, and our mental health professionals in a situation where they are dealing with someone in crisis and maybe the situation does turn violent and the police aren't there to help. So we came up with a kind of a 3-pronged approach, and working as a team collaboratively. This car is going to go out into the community and answer calls for individuals who are in crisis. This is going to start as a 6-month pilot program. July 1st is going to be our starting date, and it will run until the end of the year. Currently, we're going to be running this, the crisis car will operate Monday through Friday in the afternoons. Right now, we've identified 5 police officers from Frederick PD who have volunteered, and I think that's really important. The selection of personnel for the car from all 3 agencies is really important, and I was very heartened to know that 5 of our officers immediately volunteered to be a part of this program. They want to see better outcomes. They don't want to be put into a situation where they're using force any more than is absolutely necessary, and they don't want to be put into situations where we end up arresting people that really don't need to be arrested. I just want to take a moment to acknowledge our partners in the program. We couldn't do this without this team. Shepherd Pratt, MHA, the Mental Health Association of Frederick, the Frederick Department of Housing and Human Services, the Health Department, and Frederick County Fire Rescue. These are the 5 partner agencies. 3 of the agencies will be staffing the car on a daily basis, but we were all going to come together monthly and kind of analyze the program, see how it's going, and making sure that we're doing the best job we can for our community. And with that, I would like to introduce Scott Rose from Shepherd Pratt. Thanks.
Thank you, Chief. Yes, I'm Scott Rose. I'm the Chief of Rehabilitation Recovery Services from Shepherd Pratt, which is the parent corporation of Waste Station, which was formed in Frederick 20 years ago. Shepherd Pratt is honored and excited to be part of this, what I think could be a state pilot, possibly a national pilot. As the Chief said, many jurisdictions for a while have been pairing up mobile crisis counselors with law enforcement. The research is absolutely clear that this is not only more effective in preventing unnecessary hospitalization and linking people to ongoing services, but the research has also indicated that it's cost effective. There's one study found a 23% reduction in cost per incident when mobile crisis was paired with law enforcement as opposed to law enforcement alone. And another study found a 79% reduction in the cost of medical costs to be able to avoid the unnecessary hospitalization. And as the Chief said, other jurisdictions more recently have been pairing EMS with mobile crisis. But this is unique in these 2 added components, both of which are incredibly important. Adding EMS into the 3, because there are often co-occurring medical conditions, and having EMS part of that can, again, prevent unnecessary ED visits. And having the officer in plain clothes and in an unmarked car. This is critically important for several reasons. First of all, we palpably convey that mental illness is a health issue, not a crime. There are often public safety aspects. More often than not, the danger is self-harm. But it's important that that message be conveyed. And secondly, you know, folks, when all of us experience crises at some point in our lives in trauma, and there are 3 main responses when a person is experiencing trauma. It's fight, flight, or freeze. And sometimes when an individual in crisis sees a badge and a gun approaching, they may be pushed towards fight or flight. So this is an incredibly important aspect. As the mayor said, this is community policing at its best, right? It's leveraging all the community resources. I mean, they're physically in the car. So this traveling trifecta really is going to be able to give these residents in need what we all need when we're in pain. To be protected by law enforcement, to be comforted by mobile crisis, and to be healed by EMS. And by the way, it's going to be done in a way that's actually going to save money. So the city of Frederick's going to be doing good and doing well. I want to thank the Chief, Chief Coe, Chief Lando, the mayor for this progressive vision, and we're thrilled to be part of it.
Chief Lando, Scott, thank you very much. We're very proud of our police department in the city of Frederick. They do outstanding work and over many years have developed outstanding relationships with our community. But one of the things that makes our department really good is their adaptability and the willingness to embrace new ideas and new concepts. And so was very excited that we could initiate this program. It fits with a broader effort that's been going on with the arrival of Chief Lando, including the launch of our multicultural liaison unit. We've seen the continued expansion of Housing and Human Services, a demonstrated commitment by this administration and the city to look at what we do as a community and be willing to evolve and adapt and change our models. And so you're seeing here this larger collaboration that is making this all possible, and I want to introduce these individuals, and they are available to answer any questions that you might have about their role and their responsibilities within this broader collaboration. So, of course, you've met Chief Lando, Chief of the Frederick Police Department, Scott Rose, the Chief of Rehabilitation and Recovery Services at Sheppard Pratt. We have Frederick County Division of Fire and Rescue Services Chief Tom Coe, the Manager of Crisis Services at Sheppard Pratt, Willa Nagley, the Assistant Director of Behavioral Health Division at the Frederick County Health Department, Jay Hessler, and the Development and Marketing Director for the Mental Health Association, Rebecca Lehman. So thank you all very much for participating here today, and we're happy to answer any questions that you might have about the operation of our crisis car. Thank you all very much. We look forward to serving the Frederick community. Have a great day.